Welcome to 31 Days of Horror with me, Aaron, and I'm guiding you through 31 horror films in 31 days, or trying my best to. Day 14. Day 14 will be the first Omen. So not the first Omen, like the original film, but the film The First Omen. And I watched The First Omen on Hulu, but you can also, if you don't have Hulu, rent it at any other streaming services that rent. The First Omen is a 2024 film, so it came out this year. How to watch The First Omen. Does possession scare you? Does the idea of the devil scare you? Does the Catholic Church scare you? Then this might not be for the film for you. We are dealing with the Antichrist here. Maybe that's not your cup of tea. If it is, I think you're going to be fine during it. There's not much horror within the film till it's time for the horror to commence. It's more of a psychological film, so it may affect you afterwards. Maybe that's what it'll do for you. But during, I think you're just fine. So I'm going to change up a little bit of the segments. I'm going to rename them, I think. Aaron's horror tip, is really becoming not much of tips, but more of my opinions. So I think this is going to be called Erroneous Thoughts. My name's Aaron. Erroneous Thoughts. Today with my erroneous thought, prequels. Let's talk about them. I think this is how you do them. You don't really mess with the original. You keep the original, and then with the prequel, connect it in some way, but overall, you create a whole other world that can still involve the first film. This is the beginning of Damien. We have all new characters, a whole new storyline in a different setting. Also, another erroneous thought for you. Can we just let women tell women's stories much more often? Arkasha Stevenson, who directed this film and co-wrote it, does such a great job. Such a great job. So I think we need that more often. Women telling women's stories. Just my erroneous thought. 1 minute summary. 1 minute summary for you. I'm just going to summarize this film for you so you can decide if you would like to see this film. So sometimes I think that the trailer reveals too much and the summary reveals too little. 1 minute to tell you my summary of The First Omen and to sell it for you in some way. Let's do this. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. The First Omen is a prequel, like I said, to The Omen, about the movie about Damien, the child who is, spoiler, sorry, the Antichrist. I'm going to not spoil this film, though. But yeah, so it's about how this young American girl is a nun, and she comes to, I think it's Italy. Wow, I think it's Italy. But she comes for the Catholic Church, and in this church, she kind of finds out that there's some sinister stuff going on within this church. This place is supposed to be holy. This place that's really kind of saved her life and helped her come to Jesus, come to Mary, come to Catholicism, and become a nun. She used to be a kind of a wild child, and the church really saved her. And then she comes here and finds that the nuns there, the priests there, are doing some sinister things to bring about a different kind of second coming. Oh, I did it. I think I don't even know. Did I do it in a minute? I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know if I started the stopwatch or not. It's a minute. So I used to call this segment Erroneous Thoughts, and that would be a 1 minute review of the film, my review, what I thought about it. But now I'm finding that, like, titling it Erroneous Thoughts, I really never really talked about what I actually thought about the film. So this is going to be Aaron's 1 minute review, strictly just my review. I want to put it succinctly for you and kind of impulsively. In 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I started the timer this time. So this film, for me, was effective while I was watching it, but there was not much action in this film. There's not much about the actual, Antichrist. It's much more about the characters in this film, which is a great world building film. That's how I feel about it. Like, they want to create a whole prequel series, which I hope they do, because Arkasha Stevenson, I hope I'm saying your name right, well done. The actors, well done. The directing, the writing, all of it, so freaking beautiful in the film. It's gorgeous, all of it. Even the dark stuff is just well done, gorgeous, beautiful horror work. And so I hope that they do continue it. I don't think it made a lot of money, or it's hard to tell what is making a lot of money now. But yeah, beautifully done. And it didn't really stick with me. I forgot that I watched it after for a while, but it's not very scary. It's horror, but it's not horrific. 10 seconds over. Now I know that I timed it. I went over. Time for Aaron's experience. For most of these films, I watched alone, so it's getting kind of redundant about that. But really, it's just about how we experience it. Because if I watched this in the theaters and maybe with someone, I think I would feel completely different. And this is maybe for Aaron's experience to tell you we need to go to the movie theaters more often because I think some of these films really call for it. It's a different experience watching a film. So I watched it in my room. I needed to see this in a wider shot. And it's beautiful. Didn't stay with me. I didn't remember that I watched it. It wasn't, I mean, possession really doesn't get me in general. Like, I'm not a big possession boy, but the idea of the devil and all that doesn't really scare me that much. That was my kind of experience. I might have watched, if I watched it in the theater, I might have liked it more, but still well done. Time for the segment, Stick the Ending. Does the first Omen stick its ending? I think it's important to stick your ending. So 1 is I do not agree with the ending, right? And 5 is, yeah, I agree with that ending. I'm giving this one a 5. For most of the film, I was drawn in. I loved the characters, but wasn't like in it. And then this ending happens and it goes there. And that's what I want in my horror. It's because of the ending, I recommend this film. And then the ending on top of the ending, like the final segment, great. It was good setup. It's unforgettable, the things that happen. It's horror and it's beautiful. This is time for Aaron's category, where I put the film in fun categories. Putting it in a category, it's just that horror is subjective. I don't like putting it in genres where it's like, this is this kind of film. And horror is broad, so what scares us is subjective as well. So these are just fun categories that I'm going to kind of come up with. Character-driven. This is a character-driven piece, so I just wanted to let you know, if you're not into like world-building characters, this might not be for you. This isn't just ridiculous fun. The devil. The devil's here. The devil's gonna get you. He's not in the film, but it's the idea is there, right? So possession. It's got religious elements, obviously. So if you're not wanting to watch that kind of film, it's centered around the Catholic Church, and it's drama. It's a drama more than it's a horror. Which again, who's to say what's what, right? I'm gonna leave that one out, actually. So let's go. I think that's good enough. It's character-driven, devil, possession, religion. Those are the things that you'll find in this film. Stab again time. Am I going to stab this again? Meaning, am I going to see this film again? Am I going to take a stab at it again? And no, I don't think I'll watch it again. It's not that it's bad. So it was good. And I don't feel a need to rewatch it or come back to it. But I would watch the sequel. I hope they do a sequel. And if Arkasha Stevenson, hopefully I say her name right. I apologize if I don't. I like to get those things right. But if Arkasha Stevenson does another film, I'm going to see her film. Either way, horror or drama, I'm there. She's a good filmmaker. So that's the first Omen. You get to let me know now in the comments what you thought. Let's start a dialogue about these films. Or if you have any other suggestions for me, maybe. Happy Halloween.